Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Teacher Mark. It is Thursday, January the 7th, and this is Language Arts class. Today, you hopefully found this video on the daily schedule. If you did, then right next to where you found this video, there's a little link that says Honey for Cough, article and questions. And that's what we get to do today. There's a little article that we get to read, and at the end of it, there are some questions that we get to answer. The questions aren't, they're just multiple choice questions. So it's mostly looking for information that's in the story. So what I would suggest is, what I did, I would just read the article and then try and answer the questions. If you don't know one of the answers, you could always go back and find it. Sometimes people like to read the questions first, so they sort of have it in their mind, like what they're looking for, and then they'll then read the article, which sometimes does help. It can make it a little easier. So, yeah, that's what I would suggest. One of those two things. But the article itself, it's talking about doctors in the United Kingdom who are giving people advice about what to do if they're sick. This article is a little older. I think it's from before coronavirus happened and everything, but or at least before it was really, really bad. But the advice is kind of the same. It's something that's been going on for years. But what they say is if you're sick, most of the time you just get better anyway. If you have a cold or something, you can go to the doctor and they can give you things to, if you have a very ruddy nose and you sound funny, they can give you medicine to make you sound better. Or, if you have a sore throat, you could take medicine to feel better that way. But if you have a cold, they can't give you medicine to kill the cold. So that's what the article is saying, is if you have a sore throat or something, sometimes it's better just to, take care of yourself at home. There's things you can do that will also kind of make your symptoms go away. The article talks about honey. If anybody here has ever had a sore throat, I'm sure, I hope at least, you've tried a little warm honey on your throat, because it does help. If I'm ever sick, if I have a sore throat, I like to make some tea, like hot tea, and I'll put a little bit of honey in there because it gets nice and warm and it coats your throat and it sort of feels better. So that's sort of what this article is about, is, there are things you can do at home that'll sort of make you feel better without having to run to the doctor every time you feel sick. The article mentions antibiotics, which is a pretty big word and not one we've talked about before. If you guys find that word or any other words in here that you don't know, you can always ask me. I could definitely help you with that sort of thing. I like helping with that sort of thing. Learning new words is exciting to me, so I like helping you guys with that. At the same time, if you want to look them up on, in the dictionary, you could do that too. There are online dictionaries. I know some people have paper dictionaries at home. You could look them up that way too. But yeah, if there's any words in here that you don't know, and there might be some, because some of these are kind of new ideas, feel free to ask me about it, or you can look them up. I could send you a link to the online dictionary that I use in the classroom. I think I've put it up before on the board. But yeah, the word that I mentioned was the word antibiotics, and the article, it talks about that. If you're sick and you have a cold, or if you have the flu or coronavirus, those are all a virus. Antibiotics, they don't work on those. They work on bacteria. So if you have some sort of bacterial infection, like a sinus infection sometimes, you take antibiotics and it'll make you feel better. But colds, they don't really do anything for that. So the article talks about if you keep taking these things when you don't really need to, the bacteria that they're supposed to fight will just get stronger and stronger. And then eventually that won't work. So that's kind of what the article is about. If you get sick, sometimes it's better to, take care of yourself at home, drink juice and eat warm soup and stuff like that. Because sometimes the medicines, they don't really help the thing that's really making you sick, If you have the flu, you can take all the antibiotics you want and it's not going to help because it doesn't work on that. So that's sort of what the article is about. It talks about things like ginger and lemon, which can kind of help, with sore throats and if you're congested and stuff. So, Yeah, it's kind of a simple article. At the bottom of the two paragraphs, it has the sources, which are just links to where they got this information. So if you want to learn more about it, there's links to like the BBC and a couple other magazines and articles and stuff. So you can kind of learn more about it that way. The questions, which you'll find right below that, are all multiple choice. So there's a question and you have 4 choices of answers. And the answers are all somewhere in the article. So if you look at the top 2 paragraphs, you should be able to find things, but if for whatever reason you can't, you can always send me a message. You can ask me. I'm here to help with those things. But one thing I don't think I've mentioned yet is that you guys, with something like this, you can work together too. I know that's one thing that is not so good about the online teaching, is that it's harder for us to just, quickly work in groups. So if you guys are trying this and you come across number 2 and you can't figure out the answer, you're like, I don't know, but you think, somebody else would know. You guys can, in teams, I'm sure there's ways you could connect. You could have a call with a couple people and you want to talk about it or something. Or if you want to send each other messages and say, okay, for number 2, I got this. What did you get? To compare notes or whatever. That would be totally fine. So, yeah, you feel free to help each other with this. You could always ask me. That's what I'm here for. To give you an example, we could do the first one. I can read the question here. It says, where are doctors advising people with coughs not to visit? Well, I don't exactly know. So we could go back to the top of the article here. The very second sentence, it says, they, meaning doctors, they are advising people not to visit a doctor to get treatment. So the answer is a doctor. Let's see if that's one of the choices. It is. It's choice D. So the answer to number 1 is D. The question has the word advising, which is a word I don't think we've talked about much. But if you don't know what that means, this is where, using context clues can help. Or simply, if you look for that word advising in the article at the top and find the sentence that it's in, that's the answer. So sometimes you don't even have to know the meaning of the word. If you can get creative about where you're looking for the answers and things, that will help too. So yeah, the answer to number 1 is just D. There's 9 more. There's a total of 10. So why don't we try this? Have a go at this. Try to read this article, and then we can try and answer the questions. If you have any trouble along the way, if you can't find the article, if it doesn't work when you open it, please let me know. If you do open it, you can't find the answers, or if you don't know the meanings of some of the words, you can always ask me about that too. So when we're done, if you want, some people just like typing up the answers and putting that in a file and sticking it in that folder. That works great. Some people are more comfortable writing it down, taking a picture and sending it to me. That's great too. So however you want to write this down, you don't have to print out the paper and circle them or anything. You could write it out any way you like. As long as the numbers and the answers are there, that'll be okay. But yeah, just stick it in the little folder. If you guys have any trouble with those links, just let me know. But yeah, that's basically it for Language Arts today, guys. I think that's our only big class for today. But I'll be here all day, guys. If you need anything for any of the other classes that we have, or if you're confused about where to go for music or anything like that, just let me know, and I'll get you taken care of. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.